The golden calf altar has been recognized as an archaeological site by the Saudi government. They erected a fence around it in an effort to preserve the site.
I'm actually kind of overwhelmed right now because of the fact that we're able to see this in my lifetime. It's something I never thought I would experience. But man, if you have a chance to do this is great.
For centuries, skeptics and believers alike have debated whether the dramatic events recorded in the Bible ever truly happened. Did Moses really lead the Israelites out of Egypt? Did they wander for 40 years in the wilderness? And most shockingly, did they actually bow before a golden calf in defiance of the very God who had just delivered them? Atheists have often pointed to these stories as nothing more than myth, an ancient collection of campfire tales woven together by priests and scribes long after the events were supposed to have taken place. To them, the golden calf story in particular seemed almost too symbolic, too dramatic to be real. A people rescued by divine power, only to turn so quickly to idol worship. It sounded like moral allegory, not history. But in recent years, deep in the rugged deserts of Saudi Arabia, an astonishing discovery has been made. A discovery so unusual, so striking, that even those who once dismissed the biblical account as legend have been left speechless. What was uncovered appears to confirm, down to the very details, the Bible's account of Israel's rebellion at the foot of Mount Sinai. Before we dive into this shocking revelation that has stunned the world, make sure to subscribe to our channel. The Bible tells us in Exodus chapter 32 that while Moses was on the mountain for 40 days, the people grew restless. They cried out to Aaron, "Come, make us gods who shall go before us. As for this Moses, who brought us out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him." Aaron took their gold, melted it, and fashioned a calf. The people danced and feasted around it, declaring, "These are your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt." This moment was more than disobedience. It was betrayal. At the very mountain where God's glory descended in fire, Israel turned to the idols of Egypt. For centuries, scholars believed this was symbolic, not historical. But in Saudi Arabia, evidence of this rebellion still remains, carved in stone. At the base of Jabal al-Lawz, identified by many as the true Mount Sinai, lies a mysterious stone enclosure. Massive boulders form a boundary wall, and etched across their surfaces are carvings of calves, bulls, and oxen. This discovery is unlike anything else in Arabia. Rock art in the region usually depicts camels or hunters. But here, dozens of Egyptian-style cattle images appear, exactly the kind of imagery Israel would have brought with them from Egypt. This is not random desert graffiti. It is a deliberate altar, a place of worship, at the foot of the very mountain where Exodus says the golden calf was made. Archaeologists and explorers alike have stood in awe, realizing that this could be the very site where Israel declared, "These are your gods, O Israel." The stones have preserved the memory of their rebellion for over 3,000 years. What makes the golden calf altars so convincing is not just the carvings themselves, but the world around it. The altar sits directly at the base of Jabal al-Lawz, a mountain with its peak blackened, as though burned by fire. Exodus records, "Mount Sinai was covered with smoke, because the Lord descended on it in fire." Exodus chapter 19, verse 18. Nearby is the massive split rock of Horeb, rising several stories high and split clean down the middle, with evidence of water channels flowing from it in a land with no rivers. The Bible records that Moses struck the rock at Horeb, and water gushed out for the people to drink. Exodus chapter 17, verse 6. Further still is a grove of palm trees and springs, believed to be Elim, where the Israelites camped at 12 springs and 70 palms. Exodus chapter 15, verse 27. And not far from there are ruins linked to the land of Midian, where Moses lived with Jethro before returning to Egypt. Each of these discoveries adds weight to the claim. But at the heart of it all is the golden calf altar, sealed off by Saudi authorities, preserved as silent testimony to Israel's greatest rebellion. When amateur archaeologist Ron Wyatt first reported these discoveries decades ago, he was mocked. Scholars dismissed him as a dreamer, a man seeing patterns where none existed. Even many Christians turned away from his claims. But now, after skeptics and atheists themselves have visited the sites, the evidence can no longer be ignored. The golden calf altar is real. The carvings are real. The location matches the Bible perfectly. What was once dismissed as myth is now acknowledged as history. The golden calf is not just an artifact of history, it is a mirror for the human heart. Think of it. Israel had just seen the plagues fall on Egypt. The Red Sea split. Manna rained down from heaven. And yet, within weeks, they bowed before an idol. Why? Because idols are always easier than obedience. They give us something we can see, something we can touch, something we can control, but they take us away from the living God. The altar of the golden calf stands today as a monument of warning. It says, "Do not trade the glory of the Creator for the work of your own hands." And if the stones have preserved Israel's rebellion, then surely they also preserve God's faithfulness, for He forgave, restored, and continued to lead His people toward the promised land. Atheists set out to disprove the Bible. Instead, they stumbled upon one of the most shocking discoveries in history. At the base of a scorched mountain in Saudi Arabia lies the altar of the golden calf, covered in carvings of bulls and calves. Surrounding it are the very features the Bible describes: the split rock of Horeb, the springs of Elim, the land of Midian, and the path across the Gulf of Aqaba, where Israel may have crossed. But at the center of it all, the golden calf altar. The Bible was right. The rebellion happened. The stones have remembered what men tried to forget. And as Jesus said, "If they keep quiet, the stones will cry out." Luke chapter 19, verse 40. In Arabia's desert, the stones of the golden calf cry out even now, reminding us that God's word is true and His covenant still stands.